Now here's a quick demonstration of Chatscaper, which is a tool that people can use on their own to create nonlinear dialogue, or which can be used in a classroom with a group of people to create nonlinear dialogue and to produce a little game that executes. And just to show what the game looks like after creating dialogue with this system, and dialogue can be created as easily as this. It's my pleasure. We can click on the simulate button and see what a conversation that's being created looks like. And obviously, when it's finished, we can also see what the finished conversation looks like. Thank you for coming to my party. Now, it's a game, so that because we have an introduction here, a first line of dialogue, and we've proposed 3 alternatives, the game executes immediately, and you can choose the different possibilities. Now, there's only one that follows on from that for the moment, so we'll click on that.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's my pleasure.
So there we have a very simple dialogue, which can be developed just by clicking on these different buttons, and you can extend it and make it more and more complex. And in all cases, the dialogue will execute, but you can write new text. Oh, I didn't realize this was a party. I hate parties. Well, come and join us anyway. You might have some fun. And then you can imagine that he says, I never have fun. Or you could imagine that in response to that, he says, sorry, we will stay with the same person, that he says, well, it might be interesting for a change. Now all this is just being created spontaneously, just off the top of my head, in order to show how dialogue can be developed. It could be done, and we recommend that it's done in a classroom with some sense of purpose about what one is developing. But this was initially created for language training, for use, for example, in classrooms where people are learning English. They can learn another language, as we'll see, and it's an invitation for them to be creative with dialogue and to attempt to do things in a logical way, that is, respecting the logic of conversation, and obviously in a grammatically correct way, and phonetically as well, as we'll see. Now, if we execute the dialogue here, thank you for coming to my party. Now, we can continue here.
Oh, I didn't realize this was a party. I hate parties.
Well, come and join anyway. You might have some fun.
Well, it might be interesting for a change.
And we've come to the end of that bit of dialogue. So you can see how quickly it's possible to create dialogue which can be very interesting and very compelling as it appeals to everyone's sense of creativity. If it's done by a teacher, say a language teacher in a classroom, but we don't restrict ourselves to language teaching, then the teacher will spend some time helping the students find language that is appropriate. We use it as well for sales strategy, marketing, management situations, um, learning to handle difficult customers, for example, where the people involved, the students involved, are thinking about how a conversation can be, how it develops quite naturally, but also how it can be controlled. Now, let's just save that and then see what happens when you create a new project. You have a choice of languages. Here we've got English and French. Let's stay with, well, let's do a little French, and we'll change it, the title, to Ma Conversation, and we'll see another feature that comes up because it's in French. We have the same characters, so we can change that. Barbara this time, and Barbara is going to say, she's going to use dictation. We'll see what happens with that. Je m'appelle Barbara. So we get Barbara saying, my name is Barbara, in French, of course. If we are happy with that, we can stay there and then click here and create the person she's talking to, which is Walter. So she's speaking to Walter, and Walter's going to say something. He can also dictate it. Moi, je m'appelle Walter. So we know we've got another character. We can capitalize here if necessary. And we've got Walter speaking to Barbara. Now, we can also have Walter thinking of something else to say. And he might say, Quel joli nom. And this time I'm typing it, but I could have dictated it. And actually, if I'm a teacher, I might say, well, Barbara isn't a nom. It's not a name. It's a first name. So it's a prénom. And we've got our dialogue here, which is already developing.
Je m'appelle Barbara.
Moi, je m'appelle Walter.
Walter, well, the text-to-speech doesn't necessarily know English names, so it's pronounced phonetically. Of course, I can replace that by clicking on the record button. Moi, je m'appelle Walter. And if we play the game now,
Je m'appelle Barbara.
record button. Moi, je m'appelle Walter. And so on. So we always have the choice of using the text-to-speech, which is automatic, or the recording function, which allows you to do something that's dramatically more appropriate, and it provides an opportunity for the contributors themselves, the participants, to actually include their voice in the program. Now, we can change the emotion, of course. Here he's being very intense when he says, Moi, je m'appelle Walter. So there we have a quick demonstration of most of the functionality of Chatscaper. The only other thing to mention is that the logic of Chatscaper can be injected once a game is created, injected into our other product, much more sophisticated product, Gamescaper, to produce a finished publishable product where you can substitute video, for example, for these still images and the audio, and you can create very sophisticated drama which appears in the form of a non-linear serious game. Thank you.